I've been thinking a lot lately about active and passive thought. Active thought is when I search for something in my mind or try to define something in my mind or describe it. Passive thought is when something strikes me like a bolt out of the blue, like I have an epiphany, or if I say, well, it occurs to me I should wash my car. That's passive thought. Why is it that some people have greater capabilities of passive thought and other people have greater capabilities of active thought? Has that ever been researched? I'm not sure that it has been. I have a question on my blog, Susurrus Waking. That's Susurrus, Waking. And you can Google that if you want to, and it has to do with biology. I don't remember the exact wording of the question, but it had to do with passive thought and active thought in animals. So, for instance, if a largemouth bass is swimming along and he just happens to notice a minnow and eats it, I think that's an example of passive thought, because he may not have been looking for anything. It just struck him like a bolt out of the blue that there's a minnow over there, And so that may even be considered a kind of like epiphany in the animal world. Oh, it just occurs to me that there's a minnow over there. Now that has to do with sense perception. What I'm talking about in humans is perception in a kind of conceptual sense. Like, it occurs to me that this idea is true. Well, why is that? Why is it, as I said before, why is it that certain people are more adept at just sort of being struck like a bolt out of the blue with information? Like Newton watching the apple fall from the tree and it occurring to him there's this force called gravity. Darwin seeing the finches with different beaks, and natural selection, just the process, the thought of natural selection just occurring to him. I mean, what is the heritability rate of passive thinking, or the ability to think in a passive way? What are the degrees? Because it is the source of the most important creative thoughts are passive thoughts. Now, you can come to an epiphany by actively searching for things, but I think being struck like a bolt out of the blue is the source of the most important creative acts. So that's a question I want to ask and I want to put out there. And you can go to my blog if you want to, Susurrus Waking, and you can look up. There's a lot of more information there on a lot of sorts of, on many things having to do with poetry, philosophy, science, religion. Science and religion, not so much, but mostly poetry and philosophy. And you may think you're not interested in poetry, but just, give it a try, because poetry, I think, enhances passive thinking. Poetry allows you, I've got cars in the neighborhood right now. Poetry allows you, I think, to open your mind to more passive thinking. Thank you.